All right, guys, we're going to kick off our mobility series, 9 weeks, with our ankle mobility. So we view it as a super important aspect of your body to take care of because it's your connection to the rest of the world. It literally mounts you to the floor, so we need to make sure that it's 100% ideal, or at least as close as possible, because it's going to affect everything up the chain if it's not good. So if we have bad ankle mobility, our knees are going to take effect, our hips, our low back, shoulders, even our neck posture and alignment is going to go out of whack. So I want you guys to start off with a squat test. So it is super important that you guys warm up before you do a lot of this mobility stuff, whether it's hopping on a bike, doing some jumping jacks, skipping rope, maybe even if it's just hopping in a sauna. But the squat test is simply just knocking out squats. And I want you to pay attention to where your knees are in front of your toes. If your knees don't travel in front of your toes, in order to get lower, you're going to have to bend and bow towards the wall. The goal is to drop the hips straight down with the chest up tall and let those knees go out in front of those toes. So if that's not what you have available to you right now, let's go ahead and take off your shoes. We're going to do another little mobility test. I want you guys to put your toes about 4 inches away from the wall. If you're not quite for sure what 4 inches is, go ahead and put your hand right at the wall, and that's about 4 inches. Line your toes up. And I want you guys just to push your knees all the way to the toes without letting them buckle in or buckle out. So I'm literally staying up tall, pushing my knees as far forward as they're going to go. And those 4 inches should equate to about 40 degrees of dorsiflexion. And that's what I want, bare minimum. So if I can't do that, I've got a lot of work to do. So we're going to start off with just some mobility of the heel cord. So starting that lacrosse ball, I can just lean a lot of my weight right onto it, and I can roll the bottom of that foot. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to inhibit or turn off that tight and overactive musculature. So I can roll around on the heel, the arch of the foot. If I need more weight, I can lean harder. If I need less, I can go ahead and back off. So I'm going to roll both feet, maybe about 30 seconds to a minute each. I can also lay on the ground and use that lacrosse ball for the top of my heel cord, my Achilles tendon, my calf. So I can roll on it there. If that's too much, you can also use a foam roller. Can put both on or cross them over. And if you're still too tender and too sore, just use your fingers. I can just use my fingers and manipulate some of that tissue right there. Once we spend a good minute or two on each limb, we'll go ahead and stand up and try our tests again. I got my squat test and I have my wall test, just to see if it's helping out or not. From there, we're going to do some mobilizations. So standing on one foot, I'm just going to softly, gently move my ankle through that range of motion. I'm not trying to force it. I'm not trying to get real dirty with it. Just trying to move it a little bit. As the mobility increases, or if I need some extra work, I can do some static stretching. So go ahead and put my foot up, toes up on dorsiflexion, and lean into that. I can also try and bend my knee to open that up as well. And I can, again, hold these for about 30 seconds to a minute on each side. Another one is I can come down into a lunge position, use my left hand, or same hand as the same knee, push that knee out in front of the toes, then I can use my extra hand and support that heel, making sure it stays on the ground. We want to prevent the heel from coming up off the floor, or else I'm just kind of skipping away from this ankle mobility. I really want to keep that thing planted. Once we've taken care of the static flexibility, I need to go ahead and activate the stuff that's weak. So if the back of my ankle and my calf is really tight and active, then this, my tib ant, my perineals usually are a little underactive. So I can start with just toe raises. Some of your gyms might have a little machine that you guys can use to add some weight. Another drill is I can just do heel walks. So keeping my heels to the floor and my toes towards the sky. I can walk forward, backward, laterally. Trying to do some high knees, but I'm just trying to really activate the front of my shins to help mobilize the weak stuff that's being overpowered by my calves back here.